All right, everybody. I'm really excited because I'm starting this new patient spotlight of the month. I'm calling it my sexy patient spotlight of the month. And this month I wanted to be able to profile the ever beautiful Megan. I wanted to be able to profile you because we met together, God, like last year.
It was almost a year ago.
It's crazy. So much time has
I
passed.
know. I know.
So,
It
I
feels
mean,
like it's been years though.
yeah, totally. Well, it's great because, we've established this really awesome relationship,
Yeah.
and so much has happened with you from like a business perspective and
Yes.
like personal. And I kind of want to get your thoughts and feedback in terms of what position and where were you at, before I guess coming to see me? Like if you can kind of give people sort of a brief of what was going on with you before.
I was in a really bad place actually. I was stuck in a rut, and I was living in a place I did not want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a very tumultuous relationship, and things with I think I just kind of allowed myself to be stuck where I was. I started to lose confidence in myself, or basically had none. I wasn't the mother I used to be to my two kids. And I just and I gained a lot of weight and lost a lot of respect for myself.
Yeah, and I remember when I spoke to you. For those of us out there, I actually met Megan during the Sexy Liver Detox program that I launched last spring. And I remember speaking with you and, hearing how you felt and, kind of setting some goals. And you just were so gung ho about it.
Yeah.
And I was really excited about it. So, why did you end up, choosing to come to me, for example? Like, what promoted you even to change your health completely?
Well, that coming to you was actually that's an easy answer. Changing my health, I wanted to get back to being the person that I like being, but I had actually stumbled upon your site a year or two before when
Okay.
I started to try to get healthy again, and I found a recipe for this apple quinoa kind of breakfast thing, and I thought it was the best thing I'd ever had in my life, and I was like, this woman is amazing. And then things started to get bad, and I kind of like fell off the track and stumbled upon you again and saw that you were doing the remodel sexy.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to really go into it. And I think that I don't think you were doing video things then. It was the Sexy Liver, but I did buy the Remodel Sexy cookbook.
Yeah.
And I remember in the video with all those women, and I was just like, oh gosh, that's right, this woman. And you were just, I just remember thinking, one, I liked that you cussed. I like that you swear. Because I swear a lot too. So I'm like, this girl is awesome. Because thank goodness, because I swear all the time. But and you wrote like you speak, which is what I often hear that I do. I just felt very like connected, sort of. That might sound weird, but
No,
like
it's totally cool.
I kind of connected with you through that and saw this amazing remodel sexy video that you did with all these women and posted it on my page, and I was like, ladies, this is do this. And that's when I started, and then I saw the Sexy Liver Detox, and I was like, in just, finally starting to get like a little bit better. But I had, been told, stop spending money on yourself, spend money on your kids food. And so then
Yeah,
I was like, oh
you were the
no.
back burner kind of girl, right?
Yeah, I went backwards
Yeah.
after the remodel sexy, and I was like, no, I like this. I like feeling like this. And so I was like, forget it. I'm spending some of my tax money, and I'm doing this for myself.
Yeah. And so, I mean,
And
how did things go when you did make that connection? Like, what were sort of the benefits that you received? Because I think that, like, from an emotional and physical aspect, like, which is, the reason why I'm profiling you, is that they were pretty significant.
yeah, yeah. I lost, I think, 30 something pounds. It was
Woohoo!
it was pretty. I was like, oh, look at it go.
See you later.
I was so excited, and I started to feel better about myself. Like I wouldn't go try things on and then go cry in the changing room.
Yeah.
It's nice. um, I started to emotionally. I felt like if I could do this with, and with all the support that you provided throughout the whole thing, um, I started to remember that I was stronger than I was giving myself credit for. And I started to not take no for an answer when it came to fixing my life. I was doing the whole, I need to change. I need to get out of this situation and I need to better my life and my kids' life. And people were like, oh, well, money and you should stick around and see. And I just said no. And I actually felt strong enough to say no and follow through with no. And I did it.
And
And that,
emotionally, like that was like a huge thing because emotionally you walked in feeling stuck,
yeah,
and now
felt stuck and felt like a perpetual victim. Does that make that
100%.
just felt like that's it. I'm just gonna keep being kicked down, and and I just felt like there must have been a reason why I kept getting hurt.
Yeah.
Maybe there was something wrong with me, and then I stopped feeling that way.
And that's so great because I mean, like, you know, um, when I remember when I saw you before, there was the weight, there was even some digestive stuff going on as well.
Yeah.
And that pretty much changed as well. And, also if you could describe like what your connection was to food prior and now.
Well, I I definitely was an emotional eater. I went to culinary school and I was a pastry chef for a while. And if there's one thing I know how to do, it is feed people pastries. Like I would put together, I would cook based on my cravings or bake based on my cravings and put together things that I have been proposed to by gay men. That's how good they were. And I would even shock myself. So, but then I started thinking, well, I never ate the food anymore that I would, make. And I thought, I wouldn't even touch this food. Like it just made me feel so, like now I'll walk by a fast food restaurant and feel like someone's just throwing grease at me, just smelling it. And I'm like, ugh, I just feel. So I'm like, if I'm not going to feed myself that food, why would I ever do that to people I care about or even just people in general? And it just changed my whole perspective.
And it even like also with your children too, right? Because I think a lot of people will say to me, "Oh, I want my children to eat better," but a lot of times it starts with the parents, right? And
Yeah.
that's essentially what you did because I always say to people, what you eat, how you eat, when you eat, why you eat is all a reflection of what's going on in your life. Yeah. Did you feel that way? And do you feel that now, in terms of your eating regime, do you feel that you're deprived?
Oh no, not at all. In fact, I just had the killer kale salad today.
Oh, so good.
So I had it because I felt like I OD'd on it for a while, and I was like, I must find something else to. And so I went back to it today, and I sat down, and I was like, oh my god, I keep forgetting how good this is. And that was actually something I put on your Facebook page too. I was like, this is a liver detox food. Like what?
Yeah.
It felt sitting there like all I needed was a blanket and like Pride and Prejudice on the TV and just like a candle and some like wine.
That's okay.
and I was in heaven. I was in heaven. I was so happy. The food is amazing.
But you're not depriving yourself.
Oh, in fact, I've made some of your stuff for friends of mine, and they're like, "Oh my God, what is this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, see." And because of that, I've managed to find ways to make some of the things that I used to like to eat as well, or bake as like pastries, and find healthier versions of that. Like I used to make baked apples, and they were the most fat filled things ever. And now I make them, and they're even better, and they're totally filled with things that I was like, what would Melissa put into these baked apples?
Yeah. And like it's a one thing I think that people think that to eat healthy and to be healthy, costs a lot of money.
No.
It's almost kind of the reverse, eh?
Yes. Yeah. Because I've noticed when I used to go out and just like get food to go or something, or get carry out or something, or takeaway, and or just even like the boxed stuff that my mom and dad used to, just say, "Oh, let's buy this, and then we'll just put some chicken in it." Like I noticed I was just as broke as I would be if I spent the money, and buying the local produce from around here, so much cheaper because they want you to buy it. They want you to. So it's yeah.
It's crazy because you and I sort of like developed this relationship over Skype.
Yes, yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm in Toronto, Canada, and you are where?
North Carolina.
You're in North Carolina. So it's awesome. It's one thing that I'm just so grateful for, that, I can connect with people like yourself, like through, geez, the interweb. Like, it's just awesome. And obviously, like, eating well, just from a career standpoint, it's obviously propelled you and given you energy and confidence, because now you are doing what?
I am in school to become a health coach.
Nice. And from a theater perspective, you got to say it because it's cool.
Oh my gosh. Well, when you were doing the Sexy Rich, the same day that Sexy Rich started was the same day that my theater dream came true, and I got asked to be in Rent
Which is so
locally.
cool. Oh my God. It is so
And
cool.
we just and that took off, and now I have this huge theater family here, and Rent blew. Not only was it amazing because it was Rent, but it blew the town away, and in a like Southern Bible Belt kind of place. And this is a show about drugs and AIDS, and
Yeah.
it has a lot of relationships. We got an extra day. They begged for more. It was like it just changed people. I mean, it was amazing. And now I'm in 9 to 5, and I have one of the leads, which is all about empowering females, like women. It's all about taking a stand.
So crazy. So crazy. And the thing is that I think that, so, I obviously do nutrition and Chinese medicine. And the reason why I think Chinese medicine is so important is because we talk a lot about, energetics of foods and the emotions that are attached to various organs and stuff. And being able to identify those specific emotions you were going through and how they connected to food really did, from my conversations with you, empowered you.
Yes, yeah. It's funny too, because I had told you I had a lot of kidney infections. Like, I genuinely thought someday someone's just going to take my kidney. Like, that's it. And you had said it was fear,
Yeah.
that fear is stored in your kidneys, which is something I actually read in a lot of my things now, and I just giggle because I'm like, yes, I knew this before.
But there was a lot of fear that was holding you back.
And I kept thinking, what am I afraid of? And then it was like, just everything. In that question you asked on Twitter when you said, what's your biggest fear? And I answered and said that I wasn't good enough or something. You're like, vague, narrow it down. I was like, curse you for making me think. Because that was a tough question. But it's a good question. And it is, I honestly, there have been times during rehearsals when I was in Rent that I was so tired and forgot to prep my food before that I would go home and have pizza that I left for the babysitter, right? And within a week, I could feel pain in my ovaries and my kidney would start to hurt. And I was like, oh man. And it wasn't something I was used to anymore. And so then once I was like, okay, well, obviously this is my eating habits, and I wasn't getting enough rest. Yeah. So I started getting more rest and eating better. Pain went away. I have not had pain in my uterus or ovaries or wherever the pain was. And my kidney hasn't hurt. I don't even, since those few times this summer when I, cheated.
Crazy. It's so crazy. And then speaking of cheating, do you feel that you're able to cheat every once in a while and not feel guilty for it?
Yes, because I don't cheat in a way that is like, well, I've started to notice, for one, that when I started eating better, my taste buds changed. And it was almost like I tasted food differently, but more like almost like more honestly. Like it was
Yeah.
like my taste buds weren't being tricked anymore. So say when I would cheat in the beginning, like obviously not during the liver detox because I was that. I mean, I
You gave it your all.
tough,
You
but
gave
I
it your all, but you gave it your all, and it like literally restored you.
yeah. I mean, I remember sitting in that Italian pizzeria and I was like, oh my gosh, how am I doing this? And I just went home and I was like, okay, my other food or my smoothie or something. And I was like, ah.
Yeah.
But when I did cheat, when I did have like French fries or something, it was like my brain was like, oh, you're giving yourself a treat because you've been so good. But my mouth and my body were very upset. My taste buds were like, ugh, ugh. And it was like I could taste all the grease. I could taste, it was just disgusting. So now when I do cheat, like I will cheat, like I'll have wine and I'll have whatever. But like if I go for, I don't even know what I would do, like sushi, like a lot of times I'll just go like and get just the fish. But there are times I'll cheat and I'll get a roll and I'll get like the rice.
Hmm.
And really, I mean, I get a little more lethargic at the end of the meal, but it doesn't affect me. I don't fluctuate in my weight as much. And like, my body will react a little bit, but it not to the point where like I'm now up another jean size. Like I feel like I can still do certain things here and there, but because I'm in the South, so there's not really that much when it comes to eating out that you have an option for. It's always like fried pickles, fried. I I remember my mom said, "You need to learn how to make chocolate dip potato chips," and I went, "No,
No, thank you.
terrible."
But it's so great because, like, I genuinely care about every single patient that I have, beyond the sort of like white collar type, stoic sort of attitude. And, I'm happy to have been here, with you through this and seen you through it because truthfully, I'm only really giving you the tools. You're the one who's doing the work. And I wanted to be able to profile you, to be able to show everyone else out there how it is possible and to be able to profile someone who did it and who is a busy mother, single mom, going to school. Like you just have so much going on and things and doors are opening up. You lost weight. There's digestive stuff is gone. The kidney infections are gone. The emotional stability is there. Like you just are such a rock star.
Thank you. Sometimes I definitely feel like a tired rock star, but I do but I do remember and I don't when I feel like I'm, exhausted and worn down and I don't feel like that's it for me anymore. You know what I mean? I don't feel like that's it. My path has been determined. I'm a failure.
Yeah.
I don't feel that. I actually feel like, okay, tomorrow's a new day. Things are crappy now, but I'll get through it.
But we've even kept in contact for this last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It's I feel like I actually said to a friend of mine, I was like, am I like a crazy stalker because I kind of think that we're friends?
we are friends. I'm friends with all my patients. They're friends.
Face to face. But I feel like we're friends, but is that just me being like, like crazy? And they're like, no, I think that you might be friends.
Well, it's a difference of like having someone who cares and puts in the effort and stuff. And I don't know. I think sometimes as practitioners, it's this weird like dynamic sometimes that you're taught that like okay, you're here and patients here and separate it. And I've never really looked at it that way. Like I see you as a patient and a friend of mine, and support and motivation definitely comes along with it. So, but thank you very much because I wanted to be able to give people your story because I think it's incredible. I think you've done so much, awesome work, which, I know that it was challenging at some times. I know it was rewarding because you're a byproduct of that and you are a rock star. It's kind of like, sex, kale, and rock and roll, I guess. I don't know.
What it is. That's it. Exactly. I am such a kale addict. I
Well, there you go. But thank you so much, Megan, because you're awesome. And everyone out there, this is Megan. Am I saying last name right? Acurso? Acurso? Acurso.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I gotta make sure I say it right. But, thank you again. And I hope that everyone can take a look at this awesome, beautiful woman who's just done so much. And that if she can do it, so can you. And definitely want to profile you. So thank you so much.
It's good to see you again.
Always. You're never going to get rid of me. I'm always going to be here.
Well, I'm supposed to come to, have our dogs have a playmate.
Yep. You can come to Toronto.
That's what I'll do. I'll bring my dog to Canada.
I wish my dog was around here. I think he's sleeping somewhere.
Goodness,
Damn.
he is so precious.
I know. He would have made a cameo. Damn. All right.
My sleeping. Normally, she's right here by my side, just like waiting for me.
Thanks so much, Megan.
It was so good to talk to you. We have to do this again.
Yes, we do. All right. Take care.